Project for today is going to be this snapper push mower. It's been sitting for about 10 years, the guy said, but it was stored indoors anyway. Let's see what the gas tank looks like. Looks like it's dry. That's a good sign. The fuel line under here is pretty cracked and busted, so I'm sure that needs to be replaced, and we'll have to go through the carburetor just to make sure that's all good. Looks like it has the original spark plug in it. You can usually tell if the spark plug is painted black. When they painted the motor, they just painted over the spark plug on a lot of them, so you can tell that's the original. We'll replace that. The primer still feels okay. I don't know what he's got going on here. It's all loose on top. Well, that just comes right off. That tab was broken. I'll get you set up in a stand and we'll get started. First thing we'll do is get this air cleaner out of our way. So that looks like that's seen better days. The foam in here actually feels okay yet. Probably be able to wash that out. A lot of times you like put your finger in it, it'll just squish and it won't pop back out. It's usually when it's kind of rotten. It does look like it was getting stuff past that filter. We'll pop this fuel line off of here. And you can see how rotten that was. Just cracking open everywhere. And that's a couple of 3/8 bolts back here that hold the carburetor on. These are fairly simple to get the carb off. You can see it's a little gummy in there. That O-ring, well, that O-ring's okay. A lot of times that O-ring gets rotten on there, but that one seems fine. It must be just, it had leaked gas in there. It's kind of gas tarnish, and the throttle moves really hard, so I'll have to soak that. And get that on the bench, and we'll tear that apart, and then get that soaking. And this one's just got a 1/2 inch bolt in the bottom. You can see that's all gummed up. There's a hole in the center there, and then a hole on each side that needs to be cleared. Oh boy, that's really stuck on there. These float bowls, they're pretty thin metal, so you don't really want to bang on them to get them off. I usually get a small screwdriver right in the edge there, and you can get them to pry up without wrecking anything. Oh yeah, that's good and gummed up. This float it moves, but not very easily. I got it out part way. The needle doesn't look terrible. We'll probably end up putting a new needle seat in that once we soak it. And that's about all there is to these ones. And hopefully after soaking it, that throttle will come loose for us. Probably put a new float bowl gasket on it too. If that, a lot of times when you soak them in the ultrasonic cleaner, that gasket gets all swelled and it'll fall off, but I'm just gonna break it peeling it off, so I'll just leave it alone. We might be able to still get by with that one. So we got it out of the ultrasonic cleaner. It's not the cleanest, but I did scrape a bunch of the stuff back out. It didn't come super clean in there. It was really gummed up, but a lot of that's just staining now left in there. And I'll scrape this down with the wire brush a little bit, and then we just take some air and blow in there, and a lot of times that'll pop that seat out of there. We'll see if that'll work. This one we might have to take a pick to get it out of there. There it come out. That's the little seat that's in there. I've got a float valve kit from Sten's. It's a 525-840. Otherwise the Briggs and Stratton number is 398188. I do usually like to use the actual Briggs kits. They're a little bit better, but these are the second best if you're looking to replace them. So I don't know how well you'll be able to see it on camera, but one side of this is smooth and the other side has some grooves in it. You want the grooves to go down. I'm not sure if this tool is going to work. I've never used, this is a Tecumseh tool for putting the seats in, but I don't know if it'll work on this Briggs. I was just going to try it. Otherwise, if you can find a drill bit that use the backside of a drill bit that it fits this perfectly and you could push down in there with it. But I think that worked to use that tool. I'll try setting the float in there and see what the float height looks like. That hole must be a little bit gummy still. Our float height still looks a little high, so I must have to get it pressed down in there a little bit better. You want this to sit more flat down, flat across. So I'll pull that back out and readjust it again. I got it sitting a little bit better. It's still up a little bit, but we'll try it with it like that, see what happens. And I did run, there's two holes in there. I ran wire up through and sprayed carb clean up through them. And our gasket stayed on the float bowl here. The throttle is nice and easy now. So we'll get that thrown back on there and we'll see if it runs. I did cut a new piece of fuel line. Normally you don't run a filter on these. It's got a filter in the tank, but I don't know. I can't really see too good down in there, so I don't know if they were getting junk through is why they put the filter on. But it could have a busted screen in there or something, so I just put the filter back I figured they might have done that for a reason, so. I blew this out with air to clean it up. When you put these back on, make sure you get that breather tube connected back up on the back side there. And these also, the gasket that's on the carburetor here, these plastic housings will get warped sometimes. So sometimes you need to double up those gaskets, because that's needs to seal for your primer to work. So I'll put some gas in it and I'll watch in there when I hit the primer to make sure we're squirting fuel up, and then we'll put a new air filter in it and a new spark plug, and then we'll try running it, and then I'll have to change the oil once I get it warmed up. We'll throw our new air filter in there. That did squirt gas up there good when I pushed the primer. You can't really, I can't get the camera in there really for you to see that, but the air filter I'm putting in is a Stens 102-549, or the Briggs number is 491588S. Push that filter kind of weird on top. All right, got it pushed back down. All right, I'm gonna just change that spark plug just to make sure that doesn't give us any issues, and then we'll try firing it up. This is a Champion RJ19LM. That one's pretty carboned up. It's a good thing we're changing that. Now we can try, see if it'll run. I did check the oil already and it was full. It just looked like it was a little old, but we'll see if it'll go for us. Hit the primer a few times. That seemed to run pretty good. We'll suck the oil out of it now, and then this deck seems like it's, I don't know, wobbly. Oh, it's just, figured it was just out of adjustment. That's usually the issue. We'll change the oil, take a look at the blade, and then go out and test it out. That oil looked pretty black. I've had this oil extractor on a couple different videos, but if you haven't seen it, it's just a extraction pump. You just pump the top, or you can use compressed air to suck the oil up and out. A lot of these push mowers don't have drain plugs, or they're hard to get at, so this is easier. I do tip the mower to the side, as you can see. That helps the oil go over to that side better, and you get every last drop of it that way. Well, I'll get that sucked out and fill it up, and we'll check the blade. I got it tipped up here, and this blade looks pretty terrible, so I'm going to take it off, see if I have a replacement. You can see the lift edge is broke completely off. There's not much you can really do once that happens. You can sharpen it, but it's still not going to cut very well. I had a used blade here I'll throw on. It's in pretty good shape on a mower that had a bent crankshaft, so we'll give them this one. Alright, now we can run it outside and test it out. Well, it runs good. I think that's going to do it for this one. If you like this sort of thing, like the videos and subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one.